Welcome back. We have been discussing about the various advantages of mediation, how mediation helps in resolving the conflict, how mediation helps in resolving the disputes, and there are various positive attributes to mediation. Does it mean that mediation has no negatives? I would say mediation also has certain barriers. It's good to know them because people all over may not immediately accept mediation. They have their own reasons, apprehensions, which need to be clarified. Once you know and you address them, it may be easier for you to understand as to what is their reason for apprehension. And once you handle that, maybe you are able to give them a solution. And that would be the first thing which a person has to know as to what are the barriers to mediation. Yes, we should accept that there are also barriers to mediation. What are they? We'll get into it one by one now. The moment you say mediation and refer it to a person who is in conflict, the usual gesture is, oh, it's not for me. It's not for my dispute. He may not know what is conflict, but he may say it's not for my dispute. Because he thinks that his case is totally different. His case is about something which is not part of mediation or could be resolved in mediation. This is probably because of his lack of awareness. We'll deal with it later. According to me, from my experience, I would say there is no case which cannot be mediated. There is no case which cannot be resolved. It all depends on perceptions and how do we address that. So let us get into this one by one now. Some of the people, particularly disputants who are in the having serious civil disputes, they think that if you refer to mediation, that means you, that is to say you, the mediator, has already thought that his case is weak in the court or his case is weak otherwise, which means the case being not strong enough, I am now forced to solve it outside the court, and mediation is suggested to me because that would be a better solution than losing the case. This may be a reason why the party starts even doubting you, or they doubting the system of mediation, because his knowledge is mediation means there is some loss. Mediation means he would not get what he is looking at. There are people who would say this because their concept of mediation, their understanding of mediation is that mediation is something different. They have heard of mediation in various aspects. That mediation and this mediation is different. But they say, no, I know about it. There is nothing new. Please don't suggest this to me. Let me go and deal in the court itself. There are also people having a lot of misapprehension about mediation. They think that mediation means what they see it in the panchayat system, what they see it in the various places which are also there to resolve disputes between the parties. There are people who are claiming to be neutrals. They try to resolve the dispute. There are some agents who are doing this. They think that this is that mediation. So that misapprehension about mediation or not understanding the concept of mediation could be reason why they may not be interested in mediation, and that could be a serious barrier. So it is good to know the principles of mediation, where we say as to what are these very important principles, namely the principle of voluntariness, principle of confidentiality, neutrality, and win-win situation, and very importantly, the fact that mediator does not decide anything. Mediator is not a judge, and the fact also to be emphasized is that you, the party, take the decision. You are the person to take the final decision, and your decision is final, and there is no judgment forced on you. Is when it is conveyed to them, probably they will be more open to participate in mediation. Some of the parties have a feeling that once they agree for mediation, the other side is likely to think that he has some weakness. He knows that there is no weakness, but he feels that the other side may think that he has a weakness. Therefore, he has come. That means the party who wants a mediation is ready, he is happy, he knows the principles of mediation, but he feels that the other side may not know. Therefore, he may think that because his case is weak, he has approached the other side. Therefore, the other side may misuse it. Therefore, I don't want mediation. It is a very strange thing, but it is very natural. Some of them know everything, but they think that the other side may not know, and therefore they do not want mediation. This is by and large, a very serious concern. People have a notion about compromise, because when we say mediation, it resolves disputes. It also compromises certain disputes, compromises the various issues which are relevant between the parties. But the word compromise is taken by them negatively. They think that compromise means they have to give up something, they have to take only something. If they have 100 and they think that compromise means it is only 50, and the rest of the 50 they have to be ready to lose it in the mediation. This is one thing which is very important. The word compromise is suggesting a negative thing for the parties. So it is not always appropriate to say, please come to mediation and compromise the dispute. It's a collaborative exercise, which we'll know later, where you will know that it is a win-win situation, where both parties feel win. Even the party who has approached wins, and the opposite party also feels he is won. Therefore, it is not a compromise. It's a complete process where it finds a solution. So the usual word which we use in mediation is not the word compromise. We use the word solution, pariharam. It's a very good word, a word which includes resolution of the dispute. So resolution is important, not settlement or compromise. The word settlement also it has a notion. People think that it is not good for them to settle. Settle means lose something, gain something, as the same as compromise. Therefore, these words are not comfortable for usage in mediation. Therefore, try to avoid the word compromise. Try to use the word parihara, resolution, solution, or final outcome, something like that. Some people are of the opinion that they want immediate relief. They want to see that the court immediately gives them some relief. They may be right. Sometimes in mediation, the matter is likely to be delayed because the parties would like to take some time to find a solution. But in some cases where the civil rights are likely to be infringed, and one of the party feels that he wants an urgent relief from the court, then it is not convenient for such party to resort to mediation and waste his time. So therefore, it has to be carefully analyzed. If a party feels that he is entitled to certain civil reliefs and immediate reliefs, urgent reliefs, then mediation may not be appropriate. Mediation probably tried in such cases after the dispute is filed, the necessary relief is tried, and after that, when both parties are in the mediation, such things, when both parties are in the court, the matter could be referred to mediation, and we call that as court-referred mediation. It is not advisable to make the party to wait and hope to get relief when he's thinking that there could be a serious loss otherwise. Some people refuse to come for mediation because they think that they do not want to see the face of the other side anymore. It's natural also. But in some cases, when both parties sit in front of each other, though not communicating with each other, the mediator, the personality of the mediator, or the presence of the mediator, or the the good qualities of mediator, the communication skills of the mediator sets a tone for a solution, sets a tone for a dialogue, sets a tone for a comprehensive discussion where the parties, though sitting in front of each other, they do not see as adversarials, they see as friends trying to find a solution. It also depends on the mediator. Yes, in such cases, it depends on the personality of the mediator, where he is able to make the parties comfortable in his presence and try to move the parties slowly to a situation where they agree to agree or even agree to disagree respectfully. So it's always advisable to make the party to say, you sit for mediation, you may not agree, but you just participate. Let us see whether that would help you to find a way out. Some people are ready for mediation, but they think that the other side is not ready. Therefore, they do not want mediation. They are underestimating the other side. They are thinking that the other side, since he is unaware or he is not wanting mediation, I do not want mediation. So it's a case where he is ready, but he is not ready because other side is assumed to be not ready. It's always open to the other side also to be say ready. Nothing wrong in his saying, I am ready, are you ready? If he is ready, both are ready and mediation can go on. Some people have a feeling that if I consent for mediation, then I have to automatically agree for a settlement. I have to agree for a solution. Need not be. We have understood the concept of voluntariness. People are voluntary, people can participate with voluntariness in mediation. Just because they are participating in mediation, it doesn't mean that they are agreeing to agree. They are agreeing to find a solution. The right to withdraw is available to a party in the mediation at any given point of time. There are cases where the parties have withdrawn from the mediation even at the last stage. Even there are cases where the parties have agreed, but they have disagreed in the last stage, even when the matter is back to the court for confirmation of the settlement. So it doesn't mean that once you agree to go for mediation, then you're bound to go through the process of mediation and also agree for a compulsory solution. Absolutely, there is no compulsoriness here. It may not result in the ultimate solution, therefore, he would have suggested a way out. It's always said in mediation that courts do give justice, but justice is coming with an rider. Once you say justice, the courts decide one to be right, one to be wrong, or one to be winner, one to be the loser. So court gives adjudication. In the process of adjudication, the rights of the parties are decided by the court, and that's justice. But justice has its own limitation. Whereas in mediation, the focus is not on justice, it is the focus is on peace, solution, an ultimate solution. So when peace is focused, justice is part of it. When justice is focused, peace may not be part of it. Therefore, it is always advisable to find a solution, a final quietus, we would say. And in that regard, sometimes the court's verdict may not give the complete justice, in the sense it may not give a peace as required by the parties. Therefore, you have to always value your statement made by your advocate, analyze yourself, and see whether it could be probably. Therefore, it is always advisable to see the consequences of a settlement which may be arrived in the court and compare with the outcome which is likely to be attained in the mediation, and see whether it would be better to get a peace, a quietus to the litigation, rather than continue with the court where you may not get the quietus immediately. Therefore, always analyze yourself, take a decision for your good. Sometimes the suggestion of your advocate may be not taken in the right spirit. If your advocate is suggesting that will resolve the matter in mediation by sitting with your opposite party. The parties mistake the advocate and think that the advocate is won over by the other side. Maybe they start doubting the integrity of the advocate and they think that the advocate is probably on the sympathetic to the other side. It may not be. You have to always judge your case by your own merits. You have to see whether it's good for you. It's always better to be proactive and try to find your solution to it, where you try to see whether the relief which is going to come out of the settlement is better to you. And from that perspective, when you see, if you think that if you're getting is what you're getting is good, please go ahead with it. Do not doubt the advocate just because he has suggested that it is a good case for mediation. Some people have a feeling that mediation is not for their case. They feel that they want a precedent to be given by a judge, a court, in their case. Some of them feel that I do not want to compromise on my principles. I do not want to give up my principles. I am fighting on my merits. Come what may, I do not want a compromise. Again, it is already covered earlier, because the word compromise has its own notion among some people, which may be a cause for not agreeing for mediation, because they think that they have come here to fight and get justice, not buy justice. Therefore, they may not be agreeing for mediation. They say, please don't suggest my case for mediation. Awareness is also required. Please note, mediation is a new concept in India. It has come to the Indian legal system by way of a statute, amendment to a statute, namely Civil Procedure Code, in the year 2002. Now it is picking up, the concept is growing. People are still not aware of mediation, the concept of mediation, the principles of mediation, the role of the mediator, the role of the parties, the role of the persons who are assisting the parties, or the advocates and the consultants who are assisting the parties. Therefore, lack of that knowledge is also a cause for people not opting for mediation. It's good that the awareness is spread by whatever means to see that people know the concept of mediation. Mediation is only a private arrangement. Mediation is between two parties. It is not recognized by law. It cannot be enforced by law. It cannot be executed, is probably the apprehension why some people may not participate in mediation. Mediation is recognized by law. It has the sanctity of law. It has the enforceability, and it can be executed. That is to say, the resolution arrived in mediation also can be executed and enforced. There are also challenges to the concept of mediation. Some of the parties use the mediation to know the mind of the other side. Some people use this as a strategy to participate in mediation, try to know the legal merits or demerits or the strategy of the other side, and use it to the disadvantage of the other side. This is a challenge in mediation. Certain people are fighting on principles. They are not here for any mediated settlement. They do not want a settlement. And for such parties who are looking at a precedent being followed from their case, we cannot make them agree for mediation. The parties are aware of the advantages of mediation, but they feel that their case is something which requires to be fought on merits. Some principles of law have to be evolved out of that. A precedent has to be established. And if that is the approach of the party, then it is better that they continue the litigation by going to the court, and mediation may not be appropriate, or it is not advisable to suggest mediation in such cases. Yes, mediation is used to delay the contemplated legal action. Now we are aware that there is something called as pre-institution mediation. There is also something called as pre-litigation mediation. These mediations are mediations which are done before a party wishes to file a case or to take action through legal course, namely approaching the court. They try to delay the opponent party from approaching the court, and sometimes the delay on the part of the other side may result in a bar of limitation to file a case. Therefore, sometimes the mediation is misused, and through that, a contemplated legal action is scuttled. This could be a serious challenge. The mediator has to be aware of this and see to it that the parties are not misusing the concept of mediation to the disadvantage of the other side. Thank you.